Wala, nag-drawing na mo sa project?
Oo, nag-drawing na
Pagkanawan
na
ako.
Oo, paano na naman?
Hello, Emnida! Welcome to our vlog! This is the first ever episode of our Baklay Diaries. Come and join us!
Guys,
Yes?
according to my research, did you know that Baclayon was the very first municipality established by Spaniards in Bohol?
Wow!
Before it became famous for its historic church, Baclayon was already an important settlement during the Spanish colonial period. In fact, it originally covered areas that are now separate towns like Corilla, Secatuna, Albor, and Balilihan.
Oh, that's it? Wait, there's something weird. Another interesting trivia is that Baclayon was once called Bakayan, which came from the Bisaya word bakay, meaning detour. Long ago, travelers had to make a detour around a rocky cliff along the shore to pass safely. And that is how the town got its name. Oh, very interesting. Hey sis, come here. Yes, why? You read that?
Oh, so today we'll take you on a journey to one of the most important cultural and historical landmarks in Bohol, the Baclayon Church. Baclayon Church, officially known as the Immaculate Conception Parish Church, is one of the oldest stone church in the Philippines, and it is located in Baclayon, Bohol, and was founded in 1596 by Spanish missionaries. The church became an important center for spreading Christianity in the province and played a major role in the religious history of the area.
Wow, that's it. Very interesting story. And now, I think we need to move because it's very, very hot here.
Yes,
Let's move. Let's move to another area. It is known for its strong coral stone walls and beautiful Spanish-era architecture. It also houses valuable religious artifacts and old paintings that reflects the rich past. Because of its historical and cultural importance, it was declared a national cultural treasure and recognized as one of the most treasured heritage churches in the Philippines.
today, Baclayon Church remains a symbol of faith, history, and heritage in Bohol. Many visitors come here to admire its beauty, learn about story, and experience one of the most famous landmarks in Bohol.
Interestingly, Baclayon Church also attracts both local and international tourists every year, making it not only a place of worship but also a destination for cultural tourism.
So today, unsa man may gidugayan nato? We will explore its history, architecture, museum, cultural importance, and even the challenges it faces in preservation.
And don't worry, this is not just a boring history lecture. We promise there are no pop quizzes, at least not for today. But as they say, promise are meant to be broken. Eh? Kung malay natin meron, ay wala na din. Anyways, let's go back to the past.
Let's go!
Today, we will be exploring one of the most significant cultural and historical landmarks in the province of Bohol, the Baclayon Church. This church is not just a place of worship, but a powerful symbol of Philippine colonial history, early Christianization, and the blending of Spanish and Filipino culture.
Officially known as the Church of Our Lady of the Immaculate Conception, Baclayon Church is widely recognized as one of the oldest stone churches in the Philippines, making it an important heritage site not only in Bohol but the entire country.
To understand its importance, we need to go back to the early period of Spanish colonization in the Philippines, where Christianity spreads across islands and new settlements were being established under the Spanish rule.
During this time, churches were not only religious structures but also served as the center of town life, where education, governance, and religion were closely connected. This is why many churches, including Baclayon, played a major role in shaping local communities. The establishment of Baclayon Church marks one of the earliest efforts to spread Christianity in Bohol, and over time, it became one of the key religious and cultural centers in the region.
These methods helps the structure withstand time and weather, allowing it to remain one of the most enduring historical churches in the country. The church structure also reflects the early Spanish building era techniques.
It was constructed using coral stones, which were abundant in coastal areas, and strengthened with a mixture that included lime and organic materials such as egg white.
Now that we have understand the historical background and significance of Baclayon Church, let us now move on to its deeper history and development as we move on to the next part, where we will discuss the role of Jesuit missionaries in its foundation and construction.
Beyond the weathered stones of Baclayon Church lies a story that lives quietly in the memory of every Boholano. A story of faith, encounter, and pagbago that unfolded across generations. I am James Gabriel Hormachelos, and today we turn to the forces that first set the story in motion, the Jesuit mission.
When the Society of Jesus arrived in Bohol in the late 16th century, they brought with them more than religion. They brought a new paglantaw, a new way of seeing the world. In 1596, their mission in Baclayon began, marking a turning point in the lives of Boholanos, where long-held traditions met unfamiliar beliefs.
Among these missionaries was Juan de Torres, who, together with others, reached out to the local communities, not only to teach, but also to understand.
Through pagkikila and persistence, they slowly introduced Catholic faith into everyday life. Yet, this transformation was not sudden. It was gradual, layered, and deeply human, shaped by both acceptance and resistance. Over time, Baclayon became more than just a place of worship. It became a center of pagtuo and community, where the old and the new begin to coexist.
So when we look at Baclayon Church today, we are not only seeing a structure, we are witnessing a living story. One faith, one culture, and history that continues to shine and echo in the heart of Bohol.
The church follows Baroque architecture, a style that was widely used in Spanish colonial churches across the Philippines during the 70th and 80th centuries. This architectural style was introduced by the Spaniards as part of their influence not only in religion but also in art and construction. Baroque architecture is known for its dramatic beauty, highly detailed decoration, and grand designs that are meant to inspire our emotion and deep religious devotion. Inside churches built in this style, every detail has meaning, from the carved images of the saints to the elaborate altar designs and even the ceiling patterns that guide the eyes upward if pointing toward heaven. However, what makes Philippine Baroque churches unique is how they were adapted to local conditions. Unlike Europe, the Philippines is located in an area that is frequently affected by earthquakes and natural disasters. Because of this, churches like Baclayon were not built just for beauty, they were also designed for survival. To withstand strong earthquakes, builders constructed these churches with very thick coral stone walls, heavy buttresses, and wider, stronger foundation. The design may look massive and simple from the outside, but every structure was carefully planned to resist shaking and collapse. Because of this combination of European design and local adaptation, this architectural style became known as earthquake Baroque. It represents a unique blending of aesthetics and engineering where beauty was not sacrificed for strength and strength did not remove beauty. It is more than just architecture, it is a surviving testimony of history, culture, and human ingenuity.
Some of the most beautiful and remarkable features of Baclayon Church can be seen both inside and outside the structure. At first glance, visitors immediately notice its thick coral stone walls, which have stood strong for centuries despite natural disasters, changing times, and the wear of history. These walls are not only beautiful but also serve as protection, showing the strength of early Filipino craftsmanship. Another striking feature is the beautifully carved wooden door at the entrance of the church. These doors are not just a simple entrance. They are works of art, carefully designed with detailed patterns and religious symbols that welcome visitors into a sacred space. Each carving reflects the skills and patience of the craftsmen who created them by hand.
Inside the church, one of the most breathtaking part is the grand altar, known as the retablo. The retablo is richly decorated with gold details, sacred images, and artistic designs that immediately draw attention. It serves as the spiritual center of the church, where faith and beauty meet. The altar reflects deep Catholic devotion and shows how important religion was in the lives of the people during the Spanish colonial period. The church also contains religious paintings and sacred statues of saints that help tell biblical stories and inspire worship. During earlier times, when many people could not read, these visual elements help teach religious lessons and strengthen their connection to faith.
Every carving inside Baclayon Church tells a story. Every candle reflects centuries of prayer. Every stone carries the memory of people who built it. It was art built with faith. It was history carved in stone.
For centuries, Baclayon Church became the center of Catholic life in Bohol. It was where people celebrated the most important moments of their lives. It became the place for baptisms, weddings, funeral masses, Sunday worship, and religious feasts and celebration. For many families, the church became part of their personal history. Faith was passed from generation to generation. This made Baclayon Church more than just a building, it became part of people's lives. But Baclayon Church was not only a religious center, it also became the heart of community life. During the Spanish period, people gathered here not only for worship, but also for meetings, announcements, and local decisions. The church plaza became a place for festivals, gatherings, and social connections. Even today, Baclayon Church remains active. It still hosts masses, weddings, fiestas, and religious processions. It also attracts many tourists from countries like South Korea, the United States, China, and Japan. You might even hear visitors saying "Imnida" while admiring the church. Diri sa Baclayon Church, makakita ka og mix sa culture, locals, tourists, and history all in one place.
One of the most interesting part of Baclayon Church is its museum, located within the church complex. It is called Museo Parroquial de Baclayon. It is known as the oldest church museum in the Philippines. It is an important place that keeps history and religious items. Inside the museum, you will find many old objects that were used by the church hundreds of years ago. These items help us understand how people lived and practiced faith during the Spanish period. You will see old religious statues and icons. These statues show saints and important figures in the Catholic Church. Many of them are made of wood and carefully designed. They were used during prayers, processions, and special celebrations. Even today, they still show strong faith and devotion. You can also find priest vestments from centuries ago. These are special clothes worn by priests during Mass. They are often made with fine fabrics and detailed designs. Some vestments are decorated with gold thread, showing how important religious ceremonies were in the past. As you walk around, you will notice the museum is quiet and peaceful. The light is soft, which help protect the old items. Every object inside has a story to tell, and each one of it is part of the long story of the church.
Aside from statue and investment, the museum has ancient books and handwritten documents like old prayer books, records, and writing from the Spanish period. Some of these documents were written by hand many years ago, making them valuable and rare. You will also see church bells and ceremonial objects. These items were used during important events such as Mass, baptisms, and festivals. The bells were used to call people to church, while other objects were used in different religious rituals. These artifacts show how early Filipino Catholics practiced their faith during the Spanish period. They show strong connection between religious and daily life. People depended on the church not only for worship but also for guidance and community. The museum helped visitors understand that the church is not only a place for worship but also for a keeper of history. It protects important items so that the future generations can learn from them. Today, the Museum Parroquial de Baclayon continues to preserve these treasures. It reminds us of the past and helps us appreciate the culture, beliefs, and traditions that shape Filipino identity.
But history is not always peaceful, and even the symbol of faith can face moments of distraction.
Din tayong makanakita kanina ng mga nasira na mga artworks sa mga antigo na rin, ano, maging yung mga statwa dyan ng mga statwa ay may nasira rin, pero hindi tayo pinapayagan na pumasok dahil nga hindi advisable, dahil nga baka gumuho.
On October 15, 2013, a powerful magnitude 7.2 earthquake struck the province of Bohol. It was one of the strongest earthquakes the region had experienced in many years. The ground shook violently, causing fear, panic, and widespread destruction across many towns and cities.
Century-old church here in Bohol, the Baclayon Church, that's right, and this is a very prestigious church. Everybody likes this church because of its beauty and its history, but this is what's left after a very strong earthquake hit the Bohol. Yes, yesterday, 7.2 magnitude earthquake, and it's a very strong earthquake, guys, and that's right, it's what's left to its bell tower, that's right, and you can see many people there.
Large cracks appeared on its thick coral stone walls. Parts of the church facade collapsed. Section of the ceiling and the bell tower were heavily damaged. Some sacred decorations inside were affected, and parts of the structure became unsafe for visitors and worshippers. For the people of Bohol, especially the residents of Baclayon, seeing the church in that condition was painful and emotional. It was not just loss of a building. It felt like losing a part of their identity and history. Many people stood outside the damaged church in silence, unable to believe that a place which had stood for more than 300 years could be broken so quickly. No matter how strong the walls may seem, time and nature can still leave their mark. It was a painful reminder that even the strongest heritage sites are fragile, and that preserving history requires not only admiration but also protection and responsibility.
After the devastating earthquake of 2013, restoration efforts for Baclayon Church immediately became a priority. The damage was not only structural, it was emotional and cultural, especially for the people of Bohol, who saw the church as part of their identity. The National Historical Commission of the Philippines, the National Museum of the Philippines, local government units, church officials, and heritage conservation experts worked together to facilitate the restoration of the church. Their goal was not simply to rebuild what was broken, but to preserve the church's original historical values and authenticity. Every stone, every wall, and every
studied carefully. Experts tried to match the original coral stones and traditional building techniques as much as possible. Restoration was done slowly and carefully because preserving history requires patience and respect. However, this process also raised important and sometimes controversial questions. Others argue that the church should be restored to look whole again, especially for future generations who deserve to see its original beauty and grandeur. They believe that rebuilding helps preserve not only the structure, but also the spiritual and cultural value of the site. Tourism also adds another layer to the issue. Baclayon Church attracts both local and international visitors, and tourism helps generate awareness and support for preservation. But it also creates to make the church look perfect and attractive for visitors.
Ads ba? Ads. May ads.
This raises another question. Should heritage sites be preserved mainly for historical truth or for tourism and public appearance? These debates show that heritage preservation is never simple. It is not just about fixing old buildings. It is about making careful choices between history and modern needs, between authenticity and safety, between cultural memory and economic value. In the end, preserving Baclayon Church means protecting not only a structure but also the identity and the stories of people connected to it.
Despite all these challenges, Baclayon Church remains one of the most important historical and cultural landmarks in the Philippines. It is not just a church standing in Bohol, it is a powerful symbol of the nation's past, faith, and identity. Baclayon Church represents the spread of Christianity in the country. It was one of the earliest centers of Catholic faith in Bohol and played a major role in introducing and strengthening Christianity in the lives of many Filipinos during the Spanish colonial period. For generations, it became a place where faith was protected, traditions were formed, and communities were united. It also reflects the Spanish colonial history. The church serves as a reminder of how Spanish influenced and shaped Philippines society, not only in religion, but also in education, governance, and culture. Its very structure tells the story of colonial encounters, adaptation, and change. At the same time, Baclayon Church is a symbol of Filipino craftsmanship and resilience. Although the design was introduced by the Spaniards, it was the hands of Filipino workers and builders that brought the church to life. From cutting coral stones to creating intricate carvings, their skills and dedication are still visible in every part of the church. More importantly, Baclayon Church represents cultural identity. It connects people to their roots and reminds us of who we are as Filipinos. It shows that history is not only found in books, but also in the places we protect and continue to value. It is also a strong example of heritage preservation.
After surviving centuries and facing destruction during the 2013 earthquake, the church continues to stand because people chose to restore and protect it. Its survival teaches us the importance of caring for our historical treasures before they are lost forever. And finally, it reflects resilience after disasters. Like the people of Bohol, the church endured hardship and stood strong again. It becomes a symbol of hope, reminding us that even after destruction, rebuilding is possible. Baclayon Church is not only important for Bohol, it is important for the entire Philippines. It reminds us that once history is destroyed, it can never be replaced. Buildings can be repaired, but original stories, memories, and heritage are difficult to recover once lost. This is why protecting places like Baclayon Church truly matters, because preserving heritage is not only about saving old structures, it is about preserving our identity, our culture, and the story of who we are.
Ngano gusto nimo mo bisita diri sa Baclayon Church?
Gusto ko mabisita diri kay sikat man siya nga historical church and nice kayong place.
Unsay imong pinaka nagustuhan diri?
Ang pinaka nagustuhan ako sa Baclayon Church kay ang architecture sa simbahan ug ang peaceful atmosphere gyud.
Unsay imong maingon sa experience nimo diri sa Baclayon Church?
Lingaw ug meaningful kayo ang experience diri kay daghan ko na learn about sa history sa simbahan ug nice kayong design sa sulod sa simbahan. Nice pud kayo ang lugar.
Maka-recommend ba ka sa Baclayon Church sa uban tao? Ngano?
Oo, kayo kay peaceful kayo mamati ano then peaceful kayo ang place ug maka-amaze gyud ang beauty ug history sa simbahan.
It was a witness, a silent witness to centuries of faith, to prayers whispered in desperation, to tears hidden behind hopeful smiles, to people who stayed strong even when everything around them was falling apart. Its coral stone walls do not simply stand, they speak. They tell stories of devotion, of sacrifice, of survival. They remind us that history is not written only in books. Sometimes it is carved in stone. Even when the 2000 earthquake shook its foundation, Baclayon Church did not lose its soul. The walls may have cracked, but its spirit remained unshaken. And maybe that is what makes it beautiful. Not its age, not its design, not even its fame, but its courage to remain standing. Like Princess, we came here thinking we were only visiting a place, but we left carrying something more. A realization that heritage is not just about the past, it is about us. Because when we lose our history, we lose our identity. And when we choose to preserve it, we choose to remember who we are. At first, it was only a drawing, then it became a story, and in the end, it became a lesson. A lesson that every old wall has a voice, every church bell carries memory, and every stone whispers the same message. Never forget, because history reveals no erase. And when we preserve our heritage, we preserve our future. This is not just the story of Baclayon Church. This is the story of faith, of resilience, of Filipino identity. And most importantly, this is the story of us.
Thank you, Nida, for joining us.
We hope that you learned something new today.
See you on our next Baklay Diaries journey.
Daghang salamat.
Bye-bye!
Preserve history, preserve identity, preserve us. Umawa kayo sa akin, bawalik na tayo. Nakapil na tayo.
Hello, Nida. Welcome to our vlog.
This is the first ever episode of our Baklay Diaries. Come and join us.
Jangan na siya. Sulit. Interesting. Otro. Preserve me. Gumawa kayo sa akin. Gumawa kayo sa akin, babae at hayas na.
Preserve identity, preserve us. Umawa kayo sa akin, bawalik na tayo.